really bad news. Y'all, Theo has passed away from an accidental drowning. Theo Huxtable, actually, I'm sorry, Malcolm-Jamal, I'm just hearing about this. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, somebody that has been America's brother, son, uncle, nephew, he has passed away at the age of 54. They're saying that Malcolm-Jamal Warner has died at the age of 54. They said TMZ has an unconfirmed, though reliable source who says he died as a result of an accidental drowning. Now, first of all, TMZ ain't ish. They gonna find out. Even at your funeral, they gonna be in there talking about, so is that the illegitimate child? Who's that? They gonna be in your funeral taping it, having their sources on the street. But all jokes aside, how could it be an accidental drowning? We all know he knew how to swim. They said, as you know, Malcolm-Jamal Warner straight up owned the 80s as Theodore Huxtable on The Cosby Show, snagging an Emmy nod and locking in his spot in TV royalty. He did. He kept the hustle going with sitcom fave Malcolm and Eddie, voiced one of the coolest cartoons. Yeah, he voiced the Magic School Bus and even flexed his music chops with a Grammy win in 2015. Most recently, he was hosting the podcast Not All Hood, and his latest episode dropped just 3 days ago. Malcolm leaves behind a wife and daughter, and he chose not to publicly share their names, always keeping his family life private. R.I.P. You guys, this is some of the saddest news I've ever heard. Again, out of respect for his family. First of all, TMZ, they said it's unconfirmed. Unless it's coming from his wife or his daughter. I don't think it's, how old could his daughter, he's 54. His daughter could be in her 20s. But unless it's coming from his wife, who knows? An accidental drowning, I'm wondering why. This man knew how to swim. I assume he did. He was TV royalty. He's vacationed everywhere. To actually drown, though, what could have happened? Was he pulled out to sea? What is going on? Again, it's none of my business, but I do remember, if you've never watched The Cosby Show, are you even alive? I've actually watched it on reruns. 5 years ago, I was going through like a very, very, very sad and dark time, right? Well, okay, dark for me. Let me not be dramatic, right? However, I remember watching reruns of The Cosby Show, and maybe it was 6 years ago, and maybe it was 8 years ago. It was an episode where Denise said she was going to make Theo a shirt because Theo wanted to impress Justine. Justine was Theo's girlfriend, his dream girl. And then finally she gave him some play. So Theo was trying to impress Justine, and he wanted a Gordon Charles shirt. I guess that was like supposed to be, it was Cosby Show was all these cautionary tales. So it was a cautionary tale about like, you don't need all these things for people to like, respect, or love you. Anyway, he was like, yo, can I get money for this shirt? It's a Gordon Gartrell shirt. And Cliff and Claire was like, no, you better take your Gordon Gartrell and go get your own, whatever. So they wouldn't give him the money. So Denise was like, I can make you that shirt. And Theo was like, what? And she was like, I can make you that shirt. And he was like, oh my God, if you can make me this shirt, Justine is going to fall in love with me. This girl's going to fall in love. So Denise was like, Theo, listen, I got you. Theo, I got you. He's like, all right. So then all of a sudden, it was the day of the date. And he was like, yo, Denise, where's my shirt? And Denise was like, it's right here. But she was acting a little funny. Right? I'm watching this for the first time. So all of a sudden he's like, all right, give me the shirt, And she's like, well, there might need to be some last minute alterations. So he was like, all right, bet, give me the shirt. All of a sudden he goes to try it on, and you hear from the back of the room, Denise! Denise! And he is hot. And he walks into the room. And when I say there is a shirt where the collar's down here, the hem's over here, it was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And as he stood there, what is this? Justine is waiting for me, Denise, Justine. And Denise is just sitting there like, oh my God. It was some of the most funniest, wholesome, real comedy I've ever seen. And that was just one of the things that The Cosby Show did for us, even though I saw it on reruns and yeah, okay, fine. The fact that it still aged so well, the fact that they literally were your family, the fact that in so many dark times, happy times, chill times, sleepy times, agitated times, they were in our living rooms, they were in our head. And despite the scum that Bill Cosby turned out to be, the fact that at that time it was a portrait of what Black America truly is. A beautiful, loving Black family with a mother and a father that loved each other and siblings that argued but got along. To me, The Cosby Show was the realest representation of what it means to be Black. And maybe we didn't live in a giant brownstone of Brooklyn, right? And maybe there weren't 2011 kids. And maybe, whatever. But at the end of the day, the love they had for each other, the way they had each other's backs, and the way they grew together, cried together, and the way they truly valued and loved their family, that is a representation, the truest representation of what it means to be Black in America and the Black family. So thoughts and condolences to Malcolm-Jamal Warner's family, definitely his daughter, his loved ones. But you know what? Thank you for giving us that gift and for showing not just America in a world of love and hip hops and, Blaxploitation films and all this stuff. And I'm not putting them down, but I am saying in the world of housewives acting a fool, thank you, Malcolm-Jamal Warner and the entire cast, minus Cosby, of The Cosby Show, for not just showing America with the truest representation of what Black love, Black community, Black family, the truest representation we've ever seen on TV. And no shade to the love and hip hops, no shade to the housewives, no shades to the movies that show different experiences in the Black American household. But The Cosby Show was and remains the truest. A mom and dad who loved each other and wanted the best for their children. Sisters and brothers that argued and grandparents that might have just stopped by, but they were there. They were involved. Everybody loved each other and everybody wanted the best, the ties that bond. And it was a beautiful thing, and it remains to be a beautiful thing. Something so beautiful that even Bill Cosby and all his shenanigans could not in any way destroy that legacy. Speaking of which, Malcolm-Jamal Warner literally actually spoke out about that a little while ago when they asked him about how do you feel about the Cosby Show now that like the dumb stuff that Bill Cosby was up into. And Malcolm-Jamal Warner had a beautiful answer. Okay? He literally said, in 2023, he spoke to the legacy of The Cosby Show, noting that amid Bill Cosby's disgrace, the series was still something that we are still very proud of. He said, we share a unique experience that keeps us lovingly bonded, no matter how much time goes between seeing or hearing from each other. Regardless of how some people may feel about the show now, I'm still proud of the legacy and having been a part of such an iconic show that had such a profound impact on first and foremost Black culture, but also American culture. Again, it showed the truest representation of what it meant to be Black American, our family, our culture, who we truly are. Again, who we truly are. It showed that not just to mainstream America, but it showed that to the world. Again, so sad he's passed. So sad. Woo, this has been quite a year. In between, this has been quite a year. Thoughts and prayers to his family, but shout out to the legacy that he actually left. May he truly rest in peace.